Good morning. We'll start session 1 on chapter Stars and Solar System. So what do we see when we see a night sky? So we see a group of stars, right? So we only feel that there are a group of twinkling stars when we see the night sky. But along with this group of twinkling stars, that there are moons, or moons in the sense we have only one moon, but a satellite is also called as a moon, children. We'll study that later. So what do we see? We see stars, satellites. Actually we cannot see satellites, but still there are these many objects or celestial objects available in the night sky. Say stars, satellite, planets and other some members of the solar system, like it could be meteors or anything, right? So about this we will be studying in brief about all these celestial bodies in the chapter Stars and Solar System. So group of these star, planet, moon and many other objects in the sky are put together termed as a celestial objects. So what are these different celestial objects? What are their basic features? We will come to know here. This chapter is very basic, children, where we only touch the basics, or we can say the brief part of all the celestial objects. We are not going much deep into it. We just understand what is in our night sky. So the gist of the lesson, what we are going to study here is about celestial objects, moon, star, constellation, solar system and some other members of the solar system. So let's go one by one, briefly understand what does our night sky consist of. So celestial objects, we already know that stars, planets, moon and many other galaxies. So many other put together objects in the sky are called as celestial objects. So in that first one we'll understand about moon. So about moon, when we talk about, there are two basic things what we study here, that is phases of moon and surface of moon. Now phases of moon, yes, moon also has different phases. I can tell that moon has around 8 phases. Like how many different phases of moon are we able to see? We can only see one side of the moon, children. We cannot see the other side of the moon, right? But it has actually 8 phases. You have a simple figure given in the notes as well as in the textbook. You can just go through it. Moon is also the natural satellite of the earth. So that is why the another word for satellite we tell is moon, right? So there are some other planets, they have some satellites, but moon is the, we can say, natural satellite of the earth. It is a non-luminous object, a non-luminous body. Now what do you mean by non-luminous body? An body or an object which cannot emit the light of their own. Such a type of a body or an object is called as a non-luminous body. So moon cannot emit the light of its own. That means then how do the light which emits from the moon, from where does it get? It is nothing but the sunlight which falls on the moon and moon reflects back that light. So that light what we are able to see. We see a moonlight, right? So where is that light from? That light is from the sun. The sunlight which falls on the moon, in turn it reflects, and that is what the light from the moon what we are able to see. If the sunlight, all of the sunlight is falling on the moon, the moon also reflects all of its light. If a very little sunlight is falling on the moon, moon can also reflect a very little light. If no sunlight falls on the moon, that means moon cannot reflect any light. That means we cannot see the moon, right? So do you understand the whole cycle now? How the phases of the moon comes here? It comes from the part of the moon what we see, the full moon what we see and the no moon what we see. That is something we call it as a no moon, something we call it as a full moon. Now what is that no moon? So no moon is nothing but known as a new moon day. That means on that particular day there is no sunlight falling on the moon and we cannot see the moon that day, which is called as a new moon day. Immediately the next day of the new moon day is called as or that particular moon, the moon which we see the next day of the new moon day is called as a crescent moon. Now what is a crescent moon? It's actually very beautiful to see the crescent moon in the night sky. Just you can see, now see, if I just draw one line, usually how we all do the moon, we do it like this, we do it like this, right? Or it can be also like this, depends on its different shapes. These are the phases, children, here. So, crescent moon, the part of the moon which is visible immediately after new moon day, that is no moon day. So, when there is no moon, suddenly the whole moon will not appear. The small part of the moon will appear. This crescent moon will start growing bigger and bigger from day 1 till the 15th day. Till the 15th day, that this is crescent moon, children. If I just tell here is, okay, so this is no moon, right? So this could be a crescent moon. Something, a very thin line. Slowly the size of the moon appears bigger and bigger day by day till the 15th day. So till the 15th day, this cycle goes on and then appears a full big moon which is called as a full moon day. Right? There are also festivals what we celebrate. Now just what I have given in the notes here. If you can see, Diwali is celebrated on the new moon day. Guru Nanak's birthday is celebrated on the full moon day. Mahashivratri is celebrated 13th night of the waning moon. Eid ul Fitr, that is celebrated the day following the crescent moon. So there are many such things where we come to know the festivals. So many things, children, right? There is much theory behind this, but here let us only know the gist about no moon day. The next day of the no moon day is a crescent moon. The crescent moon size appears bigger and bigger until the 15th day where the full moon appears, which is called as a full moon day. So these are something the phases of moon. How do we define it? The various shapes of the bright part of the moon as seen during the month are called phases of the moon, and there are 8 phases. You can see the figure given in the book. Now apart from this, this what I am teaching in the class is exactly what is required for your syllabus. Apart from this, in my notes if you refer, there are many things I have given about each and every celestial objects what I have given. You can just go through them. Any doubts you have in that, you can always get back to me. Right? Then let's understand about surface of the moon. Now how is the surface of the moon? It is dusty, barren, there are many craters. Craters are nothing but giant holes what you can see. And first of all, there is no life on the moon. Now why there is no life on the moon? Because there is no atmosphere. Now we all know who was the first man who stepped on earth, right? So just to check the things, the part, like we keep inventing or finding out different things. So this is how we can, there are some pictures what is taken on the moon. By that we come to know that the surface of the moon, how it is exactly. Since there is no atmosphere, so there is no sign of life on the moon. We go to the next celestial body, that is star. So what is a star? We see in the night sky the star, right? So they twinkle. So stars are luminous object. Luminous object are the things they emit the light of their own. Actually, about twinkling of stars, you again study that much in advanced in your standard 10th. So star, when we talk about, it's a luminous object, children. One important thing about that is it moves from east to west. This is the important part what I have to tell here is, now how does sun rises in the east, sets in the west, right? So here the motion of the star is always from east to west. Only remember this, because when we go to planets, there are also motion of some different planets. But when we talk about some stars or planets, their sun is also a star, right? But here this moves from east to west. Only that part you remember here. Another thing is, it is a luminous body which can emit its own light. In star, when we talk about, the main important focus is on the pole star. Now pole star is also called as a north star. Now pole star is so very bright, that is why it does not shine or does not twinkle, what we can say. Now stars are very far away from us, or we can say there are light years far away from us. What is a light year? The distance traveled by the light in years is called as a light year. There are millions of light years from even one star to another star, right? Now in the night sky, when you see one star located here, another star here, or another star here. That is not that very near. Simple, children, if I have to tell you is, now from afar if you see a building or you see a mountain, you see another tree, you feel that it's very near. But the time you start walking towards it, you actually realize it is very far. You stand on top of your terrace and you can see some buildings or something, you feel that it's very near, it's very close by. But the minute you start walking, you actually realize. So from here when we see that, we see the stars are very close to each other, but still they are millions of millions light years apart from them. So nothing much about this what I have to tell again. We'll move to the next as constellation. Now stars we understood. Now when we look into the night sky, actually if you see, you can actually draw or you can make out some particular patterns. Now quite very difficult for us common man to see that pattern and understand. But still very carefully if you observe it, you can actually identify the patterns. Or sometimes if you have seen, there are some set of stars are there from a very long period of time. Then suddenly that pattern disappears and the pattern is formed somewhere else. If you observe this on daily basis, yes. So saying that every day don't go and look into the night sky since my teacher has told. It is just what I have told you about this. Constellation is a pattern or an arrangement of stars, or what I can say is constellation is nothing but a group of stars which has a particular shape. Or now see, there are so many stars, but for a particular star we can actually give a recognizable pattern. What type of a pattern it could be? Some recognizable pattern in a straight line or a straight line with a big leap or loop on that. So there are different names on this pattern. So based on that, there are three major constellations along with a figure sometimes it is asked. One is Ursa Major, Orion and Cassiopeia. So figure also is very simple if you actually understand it. So Ursa Major when we talk about, it is also called as a Big Dipper or Great Bear or Saptarshi. Now why this name came? Because see, this is a figure for Ursa Major. Now it is a Big Dipper, Great Bear or a Saptarshi, or it is also another word for this, or it's known as a big ladle. Now what is a ladle? Ladle is a big spoon. Okay. If I imagine that these three stars are the handle of the spoon and this is the ladle. Ladle is a bigger spoon what you have, the name what they have given. Doesn't it look like a ladle? The handle and the spoon. So the connection, actually this, see in night sky they will not join children. It will be simply like this. The arrangement is simply like this. Okay. But when you just imagine this star which is a dotted straight line, then a ladle form. Imaginary lines if you draw to this and check, this is nothing but a Great Bear, Saptarshi or a Big Dipper or a big ladle. Now why Saptarshi? Because count how many stars are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a combination of 7 stars. So Ursa Major, what you have to remember here, the figure, the different names given to the constellation. The next is Orion. Orion is also called as a hunter. Why it is called as a hunter? This is the shape of the Orion. So this is the hunter who is standing, and this is called, these three stars which are in the line are called as the belt of the hunter. So here usually Orion is in the combination of 7 to 8 stars, right? Sometimes stars move from one pole to another, they keep changing that. So here this is the constant shape, but still there are combination of 7 to 8 stars. That is Orion. The next is Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is usually observed during the winter time in the night sky, what I can say. It usually looks like a W or an M. Now how W? If I am looking it from the other side or another way, this is the shape. If I am looking it from the other side, of course, W and M when we write, turn your book upside down, it looks like a W or an M. So Cassiopeia is in the shape of a W, what you can say is, which is usually observed during the night sky. So this is about the constellation. Now the next part is the solar system. What does solar system consist of? Solar system consists of Sun and its 8 planets which will move around its orbits, different orbits. So these 8 planets and with the Sun are bounded together by some gravitational force. That is why they are able to revolve around its orbit, right? So let's understand Sun and its different 8 planets. Actually children, there were 9 planets earlier, right? When I remember studying that we studied 9 planets. But later what happened, the 9th planet was not fitting properly into the features or properties of the planet. So that means this 9th planet was taken out and was termed as a dwarf planet. We'll study about this planet as well and the 8 planets. So apart from that, we have other members of the solar system. They are satellites. Each planet have their different satellites. We can see that planets have their own moons. Moon is nothing but another name for satellite. Asteroids, meteorites, meteors and meteorites. What is a meteor and what is a meteorite? There is a difference. And comets. So before we move to the next part, that is Sun and the solar system, we just recapitulate what we have done till now. We understood about the different celestial objects which are present. So basically celestial objects are nothing but the stars, moon, sun, planets, or all different objects or different things what we see in the night sky. So the science which deals with the study of these celestial objects around them is called as astronomy. So about each celestial object, if it is a planet, star, galaxy, the depth knowledge about these things, the study of these celestial objects is something called as a branch of science which is known as astronomy. We studied about moon, different phases of moon, that is it has 8 phases. How the phases changes we understood right from the no moon day then to immediately the next moon, that is no moon day is called as a new moon day. The moon which appears immediately after a new moon day is a crescent moon, that is a small half moon. What I can tell here is the size of the moon grows on bigger and bigger until it reaches the 15th day. So on 15th day it appears in a full big size which is called as a full moon day, right? That is how it the cycle or the phases completes. Then about moon, when we talked about, there cannot be any life on the moon, right? That's only because there is no atmosphere. If there is no atmosphere, then we cannot survive. That is what? If there is no atmosphere, there is no gravitation, we cannot hear on moon. Why? Because there is vacuum. There is no atmosphere, there is no air. That means it is a vacuum. Sound cannot travel in vacuum. We all have studied this in sound chapter. Sound cannot travel in vacuum. Experiment we have done, we have read the experiment. You take a bell jar or you take a glass jar. So when you invert that glass jar on that, if there is no air into it, it creates a vacuum in that. So if there is no air, it has created a vacuum, that means sound cannot travel outside. The same thing happens here. So on moon there is no atmosphere. That is how when we speak, for example, what we are talking, imagine that we are on the moon. What I speak, you will not be able to hear. That's because no air, no sound. Sound requires a material medium for propagation. So Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on the moon. Then one more concept about moon when we are discussing lunar eclipse. So what is lunar eclipse actually? So lunar, when we talk about, it is related in terms of a moon. Solar, when we talk about, it is in terms of a sun. Here in lunar eclipse, moon, earth and the sun are very closely aligned to each other. Aligned means almost in a straight line, what you can say. In which manner? Such a way that earth is exactly in the middle of moon and sun. So we don't study much detail about this, children. Just to know the concept, I am making you explain. I am making you to read here. It's as well given in the notes. You can just go through the additional points apart from your textbook what is there. I've just added few points in the textbook just for your curiosity or just to understand the chapter much better. You can read those points. So it is a phase where the earth is exactly in between in the center of moon and sun, that is called as a lunar eclipse. About stars we study. So stars twinkle. Now basically children, why stars twinkle is the phenomena what you study in your higher classes, right? The movement of the star is from east to west. That's only because rotation of the earth takes place from west to east. I think that's only enough information to know till now is here. Okay. In that, star is a luminous object, because it's emit the light of its own. We also studied about a pole star, which is called as a north star. So pole star has a fixed position. So though it has a fixed position, that is why pole star do not twinkle actually. The best example if I ask you is, does your tube light at home twinkles? Twinkles in the sense, now suppose if there is a fluctuation, what does the tube light or a bulb do? It actually fluctuates. The light appears dimmer, brighter, dimmer, brighter. Actually, the same thing happens with the star. Now, why is this dimmer and brighter thing is happening? You understand that concept and phenomena in standard 10. That is why stars twinkle. But here what is happening? It has a fixed position. That means stars do not have a fixed position? No. Stars do not have a fixed position. Now that is what? Observing night sky is what? You will see that certain stars tend to move from one position to another. They keep moving. But that in case of a pole star, that is north star, that is fixed at one position only. Now children, if you go to study about even a star, like you have to study the life cycle of a star, what happens, or if you have to just study about a pole star, there is much and much information to know and to study. But we will just keep it short and brief. What is just given in the book to knowledge sake, to acquire the knowledge what is there, we only understand. So that is the brief explanation or brief recapitulation or some important points on what we have discussed about celestial object. Now the next main important concept we'll study about sun and its planets, that is about the solar system. Also some other members of the solar system. So sun is a star. Sun is the biggest star, what I can term here is. So it is a huge glowing ball of hot gases. So it emits enormous amount of heat and light. It is the main source of energy on the earth. Gravitational attraction between the sun and the planets cause them to revolve around the planets. That is, it is a gravitational force of the sun. Including that, planets also have its own gravitational force. So this gravitational force allows the planet to revolve around its orbit. That is, all the planets revolve around the sun, right? That is only because of the strong gravitational force which bind them together and which revolve. So let's talk about the 8 planets of our solar system. We bifurcate that in terms of inner planets and outer planets. Now basically inner planets are the planets which are close by to the sun, and outer planets are which are a bit far away from the sun. So which are the inner planets here? I just put a star mark. Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars are the inner planets. Outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. As I had already mentioned, I had studied, or your parents also might have studied, that 9 planets actually. Pluto was also considered as a planet, 9th planet in our solar system. But later Pluto was defined or described as a dwarf planet. Why dwarf planet? Because see, basically there's a reason. Much evidence and reason for that. But simply if I have to give a genuine, or why? Because it did not satisfy or it did not fall under the criteria of these planets. Now planets have to have so and so criteria, right? About its temperature, about its rotation axis, about the moons, so many things. Pluto did not seem to be a planet which will fit into this category. So Pluto was termed as a dwarf planet. So basically there are only 8 planets in our solar system, and which is to be written in order. You all know the different sort of mnemonics to remember this. So one could be, my very educated mother just served us noodles. So my very educated mother just served us noodles. So my stands for Mercury, V stands for Venus, E stands for Earth, M stands for Mars, then J stands for Jupiter, S for Saturn, U for Uranus, and N for Neptune. This is one basic mnemonic which even we remember. So if you have something new to remember this, you can make and remember the planets in order. Let's understand about these planets. Again here children, we are only touching the brief part of the planet. If I have to discuss, I can discuss the whole one session about Mercury, one whole session about Venus, right? But rather we are completing the whole chapter in one session. That means we are just touching the brief part about the stars and the solar system here. Mercury, the first planet. So since it is the very first planet, that means it is very near to the sun. It is the nearest planet to the sun. Since it is very nearest, it has to be a very hot planet also, because it is very near to the sun. So, and of course it is also the smallest planet. Mercury can be seen just before the sunset or before sunrise. Now why is this? We can't see Mercury throughout the day. We can only see the Mercury just before the sunset and just before the sunlight, because not sunlight, before the sunrise, because Mercury is hidden in the glare of the sun, in the glare of the sunlight. So the sun's light, enormous amount of heat and light will not allow us to see Mercury in the night sky, right? So that is why Mercury is hidden in the glare. So that is why just below the sunset and just before the sunrise, we can see Mercury in the night sky. So see, it will not look like how you see the planet here in your book, one round thing. No, it looks like a star only. Now we will come to know the next one when I tell. Venus is the brightest planet. It is called as a morning or an evening star. Yes, evening sky. Around 6 o'clock, what you see, the bright star which is there in the night sky. So that is actually a Venus. That's not actually a star. That's a planet. That means we can see through our naked eyes Venus and Mercury. Mercury quite difficult, but Venus, of course, yes, we can see. It is the brightest planet, second planet in our solar system. Rotation of the Venus is east to west, unlike Earth that is west to east. I have written here also, Mercury has no satellite of its own. You can say Mercury has no moons. As well, Venus also does not have any moon. Next comes to the third planet, that is Earth, our planet, the planet which we survive on. Earth is the only planet in the solar system where life exists. Another one reason for life to be existing on Earth, children. See, if you go to the history or if you go just beyond millions of years ago, where there was a first life formation on the Earth was deep into the sea, where the sunlight also couldn't penetrate. That's because life was not possible on the Earth. Earth had atmosphere, but atmosphere was filled with poisonous gases. Now, for example, if atmosphere is filled with lots amount of carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, are you able to breathe properly? Lot of pollution, right? So, imagine our atmosphere not only with carbon dioxide, with all other poisonous gases, along with the UV rays were also entering our Earth, which is very harmful for us. Then there came the formation of the ozone layer. How ozone layer was formed? You will study that in 9th as well as in 10th standard. Only when the ozone layer was formed, after that all the harmful gases did not enter. Then slowly light started originating in the Earth, existing in the Earth. So another reason for the life on the Earth is the atmosphere, of course, yes, but the ozone layer. Ozone layer will not allow the harmful UV rays to enter our Earth. But that is not there. For example, if I say any other planet, okay, there is an atmosphere, life can exist, but there is no ozone layer, right? So another one important question can be asked here is, what results in the formation of seasons on Earth? Because Earth axis is is a bit tilted. Now for example, if I talk about an earth, okay, so it is not placed like this, it is actually placed like this. It is slightly tilted from what it is, from what axis it has to be. It is slightly tilted from the axis at a particular angle. That is why we observe many seasons, we observe seasons on the earth. But actually if you go to see, this year was full of, it was winter season, rainy season and rainy season, right? So that's again a part. So important question, you can mark this, children. Seasons on earth is only because of the tilted axis. That one line you can remember. It's also given in the notes. The next one, the fourth planet is the Mars. There we end the inner planets. That is Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. Mars is called as a red planet because of its color. Its color is red. That is why we call that as a red planet. It is the second smallest planet. Which is the first smallest? Mercury. Mercury is the first smallest planet. Mars is the second smallest planet. So there are two moons. That is Mars has two moons. Names are not mentioned here. Need not. Yeah, one important thing. Earth has one moon. Of course, one satellite, that is called as a moon. That is why we term moon instead of a satellite. Another name for satellite what we use here as moon. So the natural satellite of Earth is moon. Then about moon we have already studied now. Next is the Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. It is one of the largest planet. So it has many moons, but only 4 can be viewed from the Earth. We can actually see the 4 satellites of this moon from the Earth. Not actually, they say from the naked eyes you can watch that. One who actually watches the night sky very keenly could do that actually. Or from the telescope we can actually observe this. Apart from that, one important or one interesting thing is Jupiter can hold 113th Earth on it. That means, what do you mean by this? Assume that you have a big playground, okay? Your school playground. On your school playground, you just keep a football. So, how many such football you can keep on your school ground so that your school ground is filled with football, right? So, imagine the playground is a Jupiter, okay? And the football is Earth. How many such Earth can fit there? 1300 Earth can fit. That means 1300 footballs. If I fill in the ground, your ground is filled with football. Just imagine, it is so very large. It is larger than Earth. We have still not seen so many corners parts of the Earth, right? But still Earth is such a big planet. Bigger than that is the Jupiter. But of course life cannot exist anywhere. That's only because of no atmosphere. So Jupiter is so large that it can hold 1300 Earth in them, right? It has many moons that we have already discussed. The next is Saturn. Saturn, the planet Saturn, this is outer planet. One of the main features of the Saturn is it has a beautiful rings around them. That actually those rings are also visible, but again through a telescope what we can see those rings. Those rings are made up with the dust, smoke and some rocky particles what we can see, rock particles what we can see. So they have 30 moons, satellites. Density is less than water. What do you mean by density is less than water means, suppose you have a Saturn in your hand. So if you have a bowl of water, if I dip Saturn into it, Saturn will literally float on the water. Of course, because it is denser than water. Its density is very less than that of water. So imagine you have a Saturn, you have that thing is given in the textbook saying that imagine you have a tub of water and Saturn in that. Saturn will flow in that tub because its density is less than of water. The last outer planet, I'm sorry, not last, the second last is Uranus. Now Uranus rotation is also from east to west. It has 21 moons. Oh, I think I have written it twice. It has 21 moons and of course it has a cold temperature. Why? As the planet starts moving away from the sun, the temperature will be cold. As the planet comes closer to the sun, the temperature will be high. Just look at this. 76 years on Uranus will make one revolution. On our Earth, one revolution will make 1 year. One rotation will make day and night, right? Suppose if you are on Uranus, after 76 years, one revolution will happen, right? Look at this, Neptune. It is the farthest planet. More time, it takes more time to revolve because it is very far from the sun. Of course, it has to take more time. More time in the sense, how much? 165 years to complete one revolution. By the time it will take one round of the sun, it takes 165 years, right? Rather, you and me also will not be there here. It takes that many number of years to revolve around the sun. So it has 8 moons. So these are the basic information, what I can say, some interesting facts, rather not information, some interesting facts about our planets of the solar system. Now next let us understand what are some different members of the solar system. So, as we discussed, there are some other members of the solar system. So, they are satellite, artificial satellites, then asteroids, meteors, meteorites and comets. So, let's just study one by one. So, satellite. Any celestial body revolving around another celestial body is called as a satellite. That means a celestial body is revolving around another celestial body. Now, moon is a natural satellite of our Earth, right? So, moon is a celestial body. It revolves around the Earth. So, as we discussed, Jupiter has 4 moons. So, those 4 moons revolve around the Jupiter. Any celestial body revolving around another celestial body is called as a satellite. Natural satellite is moon. Artificial satellites are nothing but a man-made satellites. INSAT, Aryabhatta 1, Rohini, these are many artificial satellites. Why are they used? What are the wide applications of these? They are used in weather forecasting, transmitting television, radio signals, telecommunication, remote sensing, etc. So they have wide application where we use or where we send these satellites to and fix them at a particular orbit. Asteroids. Asteroids are the small rock-like objects that are found orbiting around the sun. Small rocks, dust particles, chunks of small stones, what you can say, which are orbiting around the sun, right? But there is a region between the orbits of the Mars and Jupiter. So, solar system, when we talk about the sun and its different planets, between the orbits of the Mars and Jupiter, there is a belt-like thing in between that. So when you see the diagram of the solar system, you can see some dust particles, belt made out of some dotted lines or dust particles, which is nothing but called as a asteroid belt. It is a region found between the orbits of the Mars and Jupiter. Chunks of rocks, dust and rock particles, what we can say. Meteors. Meteors are again pieces of dust and debris from the space. Now what are debris? Waste particles, stones, it could be anything, right? So these pieces of dust and debris, they just keep moving about here and there in the space. Now you must have observed it in some of the movies, some spacecraft or something is going, suddenly there comes a big chunk of rock to just hit that, so it moves it in its own orbit, or right? What is that? That's nothing but a meteor. These meteors sometimes reach the Earth. Now what happens is, before it reaches the Earth's atmosphere, those meteors sometimes evaporates there and then. But the bigger meteors sometimes they sustain in such a way that they enter the Earth's atmosphere and they fall and come and fall on the Earth, some open space or somewhere. And the meteors which enters the Earth atmosphere are called as meteorite. What is the difference between meteor and meteorite? Meteors are the chunks of rocks, debris, waste particles in the space, right? When these meteors enter the Earth, it is called as a meteorite. Then we have the next one is comet. What are comets? Comets are made up of ice, gas, dust particle, etc. It also has a tail. So it revolves around the sun in a highly elliptical orbit. So it has a tail. That tail of the comet is made up of dust, sand, rocky particles, etc. As the comet approaches the sun, the tail of the comet starts, melting because of the enormous heat produced by the sun. And as the comet moves away from the sun, the comet tail again appears to grow bigger. So as I have told you, we are only understanding a brief, we are just some interesting facts what we are studying about our space here. One interesting thing is, one of the famous comet is Halley's Comet, which is observed only once in 76 years. That means the last viewed Halley's Comet was in the year 1986. You were not even born at that point of time, right? So, once in 76 years, we see the Halley's Comet. Just calculate when is the next you will see the Halley's Comet. After 76 years from 1986. Then, the last viewed comet here was called as a Hale-Bopp comet, the name of the comet here. It was viewed in the year 1996 to 97. 1996-97 year, almost the mid or the end of that particular year it was viewed. Somewhere children, when I was studying in standard 8, same as of your age, that is when now you are in standard 8, right? When I was studying in 8th standard, this comet was viewed actually. We were shown some pictures, some photos of this. We were asked to bring the cutouts from the paper, read an article about it, right? So this was seen during that year. So this is about our sun, this is about our star and solar system, the celestial body which we see in the night sky. So with this we complete the chapter star and solar system. Rather, I can only tell that we have only touched upon some interesting facts about stars and solar system. Rather, we have not understood the depth about the chapter. So read the lesson once again. Also follow the notes. Some important points, some important discussion has been given in that. Any doubts you can call.